All right, so here's 4 ways on how you can increase your recovery from pornography and masturbation addiction. So watch this video all the way into the very end so that you know exactly what to do in order to speed up your recovery process and get rid of pornography and masturbation for the rest of your life faster. So the number one thing that you must do in order to increase your recovery time and make your addiction go by faster is you have to be exercising on your porn-free journey. Now, here's some of the scientific benefits of exercising. Number one, it increases your dopamine. Number two, it strengthens your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for self-control. You see how the two and two are linked. And it improves your mood, it decreases stress and anxiety, which can overall lead to less relapses. Now, when we quit pornography and masturbation, naturally, we want to replace the dopamine that we're getting from pornography and masturbation and replace it with dopamine that is actually good for us. Now, if you don't know what dopamine is, it's a chemical that is released within your brain every single time that you go to porn and masturbation. Now, it's not a bad chemical. We actually need it in order to be motivated to basically do anything. But if you get too much of it from one source, and an artificial source like porn and masturbation, it could be extremely detrimental to you. And, if you go to pornography and masturbation for so long, you get so much of it, your brain starts producing it less naturally. And what happens when your brain produces low dopamine is you get a lot more depressed. You get, a lot more less ambitious. You get a lot more, low fatigue, low energy. And that's exactly what happens to a lot of guys that are addicted to pornography and masturbation. So one of our focuses within quitting pornography and masturbation is replacing all the dopamine that we're getting from porn and masturbation and replacing it with, exercise and replacing with things like this that will give us good dopamine so that we can replace the dopamine instead of just cutting cold turkey and doing nothing whatsoever within our porn-free journey. That's the slowest way to recover. But again, we're looking for the fastest way and most efficient way to recover. And one of the things that we could do to strengthen that is go into exercise. So for all the bodybuilders out there, for the people who lift, this is exactly what you want to hear. Now, going back to strengthening your prefrontal cortex, this is very important because when you exercise, this actually increases what it's called the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for self-control and self-discipline, which is very, very, very useful for our porn-free journey. And I believe in how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can be disciplined within going to the gym and strengthen your prefrontal cortex that way, you can be disciplined when, the moment of temptation comes to go back to pornography and masturbation. The two go hand in hand. Now, the overall message of this video is basically, like I was saying earlier, finding alternative ways to get dopamine and get the same chemicals that your brain was releasing when it was going back to porn and masturbation and replacing it with other activities that will give you those same chemicals, but in a healthy way. And the second way that we can do that is by socializing. Now, let me show you the scientific benefits of socializing. So socializing, right, it resolves isolation, which can be caused a lot to do with pornography and masturbation. A lot of guys feel isolated, lonely, they go to porn and masturbation. It rewires your brain to enjoy spending time with real people and not just pixels on a screen. And it also makes you get outside of your comfort zone. Now, socializing more and just getting outside your environment is absolutely huge. A lot of guys that struggle with porn and masturbation, they stay inside all day and they wonder why they're getting temptation left and right. Get outside the house, start volunteering more, start getting into community, start getting into, if you're a person of faith as well, start getting into churches, start getting into all these different activities, right? That you can be spending time with people because one, it'll get you outside your comfort zone, which is absolutely huge because guess what? Comfortable, the definition of comfortable is pornography. Pornography is warm, safety, and it will never really reject you. It's the ultimate definition of comfortable. Why would you go out there and approach women and approach a real relationship when you can just search up a 4-letter word and get all the instant gratification that you could ever imagine, right? It's the ultimate trap that 99% of men fall for. So if you're looking to quit pornography and masturbation, start putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. But it's more than this as well with socializing, right? When you're socializing, it rewires your brain to get dopamine from actually speaking to people instead of just going to porn and masturbation. Plus, a lot of guys, they feel isolated on their porn-free journey. They feel lonely, and that's why they keep on going to porn and masturbation. We could easily resolve that by being a lot more social. And if you're like, I don't know how to be more social, just do it. Just put yourself in sociable situations and eventually over time, you'll just figure it out. Obviously, easier said than done, but I think it's a lot easier than you think. And I think a lot of times we overthink a lot of things. Trust me, I used to struggle with social anxiety. I know better than anybody else what exactly, you might be experiencing right now. But just putting yourself in these positions, it's going to help you out tremendously on your porn-free journey. The third way to increase your recovery from porn and masturbation is to start taking cold showers. You might be looking at me funny and saying, why the heck do I have to take cold showers if I struggle with porn and masturbation? It has nothing to do with anything. But as I was saying before, the more outside your comfort zone that you get, the better. Because what's comfortable to do in a situation of temptation? Is it to go to pornography and masturbation? Or is it to endure the struggle and go without pornography and masturbation? Obviously going into porn. So the more that you can train your mind to suffer and persevere during times of temptation, the better it is when actual temptation comes from pornography and masturbation. Let me give you an example. When you take a cold shower, it's such a hard thing to do that your mind comes up with all these excuses on why you shouldn't do it. Similar to when you get a temptation to pornography and masturbation, your mind starts racing with all these explanations to why you should go to pornography and masturbation, right? You know, things like there's grace for that. Things like, oh, you can just start over tomorrow. Things like, oh, you've gone long enough without pornography and masturbation. Things like you deserve a reward. All these random things that start popping up to your mind the moment of temptation. The same thing happens when you're about to take a cold shower. You're like, oh, your mind's like, this is stupid. This is this and that. But when you just do it anyways, and you put yourself in a position of feeling uncomfortable and suffering, it does a lot of good for you when the next time you get a temptation to go back to pornography and masturbation. Again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can suffer through the cold shower, you can suffer through that. You can suffer through the temptation of pornography and masturbation. It all goes hand in hand. All these things that we're doing to speed up our recovery process. And the fourth and final thing that you could do on your porn-free journey to speed up your recovery is fasting. Now, if you've never done fasting before, it's absolutely a game changer on your porn-free journey, because similar to all these other things, all these uncomfortable things that we've been talking about within this video, fasting is uncomfortable. When you fast from food, your mind is going to be saying all these different types of ways to, or these types of thoughts to why you should eat food and break your fast. But similar to pornography and masturbation, right? It all goes hand in hand. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you can resist the flesh from going into food and giving into that temptation, you can resist the flesh when it tells you to go to pornography and masturbation. The two go hand in hand. You are training your self-discipline. You're training yourself to go after the hard things, right? And I believe if you do the hard things in life, your life will be easy. But if you do the easy things in life, your life will be hard. So if you want to live a porn-free life, start doing the hard things. Because I've noticed this very common thing with all people who are addicted to pornography and masturbation. They naturally always go after the easy things in life. They're naturally always, addicted to something else. They're addicted to their phone. They're addicted to social media. They're addicted to video games. They're addicted to drugs or this or that or the news or this or that, right? We always, if we're addicted to something like porn and masturbation, we're going after the easy things within our life. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you go into the easy thing when this situation, you're going to go into the easy thing when the temptation to porn and masturbation comes up. And you wonder why you're consistently relapsing all the time. It's much deeper than just porn and masturbation. It's a whole entire lifestyle change. I like to stay within the TRF program. It's about becoming the man that no longer watches pornography and masturbation. It's not about, quitting porn and masturbation. Yes, that's going to happen throughout the process, but it's about ultimately becoming the man that God created for you to be so that you no longer enjoy things like pornography and masturbation. So guys, if you want to recover from pornography the fastest and most efficient way possible, do these 4 things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one.